Dr. Daniel Kolawole Olukoya, a professor of biotechnology, and our mommy, Dr. Mrs. Elizabeth Shade Olukoya, the Vice Chancellor of Mountaintop University, the representative of the Governor of Ogun State, Your Excellency, the former Ambassador to Russia, Ambassador Assam SAN, distinguished senators and members of the National Assembly, both from Akwa Ibom State and around the nation that have joined us here. Please permit me to recognize distinguished Senator Effiong Bob, my own political leader, distinguished Senator Ibom Eno, who is here today. We salute you, sir. The chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Akwa Ibom State, the head of the civil service of Akwa Ibom State, honorable commissioners, members of the State Executive Council that have joined us here, the managing director and chief executive of NSEC Global Integrated Services, our own Julius Berger of Akwa Ibom State, the principal officers of Mountain Top University, deans and members of the Senate, members of the academia, all the assistant general overseers of Mountain of Fire and Miracle Ministries, our fathers in faith, the entire clergy, men and women, senior citizens, spouses, stakeholders, distinguished guests, our traditional fathers that have joined us here, parents and friends of the university, staff, students, and the 2025 graduands of Mountaintop University, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me, on behalf of the government and people of Akwa Ibom State, thank the Chancellor of Mountaintop University, who is also the General Overseer of the Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries, Professor Daniel Olukoya, for the kind invitation extended to me to deliver the convocation lecture at the 7th convocation of this great university, which is committed to raising a generation of morally upright, intellectually sound, and visionary nation builders. It is my understanding that this year marks the 10th anniversary of the founding of this inspiring citadel of learning. In 10 years, you have held aloft the foundational principles and mission of your establishment, which, among others, is to produce well-rounded individuals with strong emphasis on critical thinking, resilience, and ethical responsibility. This university, cognizant of the realities of contemporary times, is also dedicated to providing vocational training through its Center for Education and Development Services. The aim, I believe, is to expose students to other forms of learning and skills acquisition needed in today's service-oriented and technology-driven economy. To the Senate, the management and staff of this university, and indeed the entire Mountain of Fire and Miracle Ministries worldwide, you have all done a great job and should be manifestly proud of yourselves and the achievements you have recorded. When I was invited to give a lecture at this event, our daddy gave me the latitude to pick any topic to speak to the class of 2025. The invitation clearly stated that I should feel free to utilize my remarkable journey as a pastor, entrepreneur, and transformational governor to situate my lecture, and I intend to do just that. My lecture, therefore, is going to be mostly motivation-centered. Hence the theme, Dream Big, Start Small, but Grow Fast. It will also dwell to some extent on providing selfless service centered on Christian virtues and values. Let me state here that we are living in a world shaped by new realities, a world where known boundaries have been breached and expanded by advancement in technology, where values once considered sacrosanct are no longer the defining ethos, and where groupthink is rapidly dissolving and being replaced by the need to do something daring, something different, and something that challenges long-held norms. It is this world that defines our modern realities, and it is this same world I want the graduands of the 7th convocation to apply their minds to exploring and excelling in. This brings me to the core focus of my lecture, which is to encourage the class of 2025 to dream big, start something, however small, be passionate, work twice as hard, and watch the invisible hands of God manifest and lift you to heights you never imagined possible. Why did I choose this theme for my lecture, you may ask? The reason is simple. The majority of the graduands here belong to the now famous Gen Z generation. Quite a number of people in this generation believe, unfortunately, in the concept of immediate gratification, and to some extent, an entitlement mentality, where we feel that the world owes you something, where we feel that people have not done enough to help you. A generation where we always blame people why we did not succeed. This generation wants to achieve success without putting in the corresponding hard work. And most times, they crash and burn. Rebuilding can be challenging, with some losing focus and invariably resulting to antisocial tendencies, such as drug abuse, alcoholism, and cultism. Many of you may have followed the very depressing news a few days ago of the brutal killing of a renowned American filmmaker, Rob Reiner, and his wife, Michelle, a heinous crime said to have been committed by their son. However, it is heartening that given the education you have received here and the moral foundation you have been exposed to and imbued with, I am convinced that this graduating class will in few years to come become a set that will achieve notable things and make deep impact across all layers of success and growth. It was Simon Sinek, the English author and motivational speaker, that once challenged us to dream big, start small, but most of all, start. But in starting small, you must grow big. You must be a man or woman of impeccable character, shaped by a deep sense of morality, transparency, honesty, and humility. And above all, dare to be different in your approach and execution. Dreaming big emphasizes the power of your vision. Every great achievement begins with a bold dream, or what we call vision. Dreams gives you direction and keeps you going even when motivation fails. Remember Joseph in the Bible. It was his dream that kept him through his days of affliction. He had always remembered the dream that God placed in him early enough. And let your dreams be very clear. And as Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 2 says, make it plain, write it out. Let people follow through so you can see the step-by-step movement of your dreams. Days will come when your dreams will be challenged, but because you have dreamed big enough, you will be motivated to continue. Your dreams should be larger than you. People should tell you, in fact, you should tell yourself that you cannot achieve this. That is where you need God. And I don't need to speak even in that area so much, because I know that you are all graduates of the Spirit and you know the place of God in every life and destiny. For without Him, we are nothing and we can do nothing. Your dream will always make you look up to God for assistance. But having the big dream is not enough. You must break your dreams into phases. I'm sure this university gives us the right example. I am sure it has been building block upon building block, one step at a time, one hall at a time. And that's how you divide your dream into phases. And start from a very humble beginning. As a matter of fact, start from ground zero. It was Jeff Bezos that started the Amazon today that has gone worldwide from his garage, selling books and newspapers online. Never be ashamed of starting small. Never be ashamed of starting from where you are. Starting small helps to remove fear and allows you to learn from mistakes and recover fast. Learn to start with what you have. And the story of Elisha and the prophet's widow in 2 Kings chapter 4 verses 1 to 7 is very clear. Everyone has something that we so often commonize or take for granted. You can start today with what you have. At least from this university, you can start with the skills that God has put in your hands. You have a way and far better than those who have no skills. So you have something to start with. The years you have spent here should not be in vain. If you look closely, everyone that God has created has a talent waiting to be developed. Always say to yourself, you are like no other. Because truly you are like no other. You have the expertise. You have what it takes to be what God had sent you to do on earth. The day He created us, He gave each and every one of us something that if we truly develop it, will see us through life and destiny. You don't need to start great, but you need to start to be great. It was Zig Ziglar that propounded that. You don't need to be great to start, but you need to start to be great. You can start right where you are. As you listen to me this morning, you can make up your mind to start something. And you can make up your mind that you will never work for anyone. If you fail to start your dream, someone will invite you to help start their own dreams. So you can start small, not necessarily in capital or the privilege you have, but in your visibility and in your responsibility and in your persistence. My personal journey through life reinforces my message to you today. And what's the message? Dream big about impact. Start small with service. Grow steadily through character and competence. Let me share a part of my story with you. As you heard, reading the biography, I attended Victory High School, Ikeja, in the early days of my life. I am a son of a police officer who paid the ultimate price in the line of duty. And I had to help my mother augment family's income by hawking soft drinks on the streets of Ikeja in Lagos. Even when I was doing that, it never stopped me from pursuing my career. I was the senior prefect of the school at the time. As a barrack boy, I dare say not today's barracks, we were rough, and people in the barracks were seen to never do well. And then they will tell you, is he not a barrack boy? Don't mind him. I'll never forget in my entire life, one day in class, we're sitting, and as you know, students would always make noise. The teacher was busy writing. So as he turned, because of my golden color, I was the first one he saw. I was not even the one making noise. But he just turned to the man that was actually disturbing the class. His name was Benga, I will never forget. And said, Benga, you are following this barrack boy, this one that has no future ambition. And the thing got into me. But you know what? Today I can look back and say that was the motivation I needed to make my life. So sometimes people may talk down on you. People may look down on you. People may castigate you. Let that become a tonic for you to rise above all of those and challenge the naysayers. Let people take you for granted, but let them always at the end of the day find out that they've been proven wrong. I am sure you may be shocked today that a man who by the grace of God and his infinite mercy, a man who started by selling and hawking soft drinks for his mother on the streets of Lagos, have been found fit and ready to serve the people and was massively elected governor of my state in 2023. But truth be told, all of those days of hawking soft drinks and selling across on the road, running around, was the beginning of developing my entrepreneurial spirit, which later saw me run one of the largest hospitality conglomerates in my state, employing more people, second only to the state government, the Royalty Group. If I did not sell those drinks and know how to convince people to buy my drinks, I'm not sure I'll be able to run a hotel. Whatever you go through when you live here is God's path for you for the future. Go through it with joy, go through it with pride, and know that there is destiny waiting for you somewhere. You may ask, how did I manage to achieve such a feat? The answer is simple. My implicit faith in the invisible hands of God to bring destiny helpers who will propel me to the heights God had destined for me. When you go on serving God and doing the things God has called you to do, hear me and hear me well today. God has already arranged destiny helpers for you. You will meet them one at a time. But my prayer for you is that may God open your eyes to see those destiny helpers when they stand before you. You know, Many years ago, I learned one prayer that has made my life very simple. Hard work, observe, to be watchful, to know the time that God is passing. And in primary school, my teacher would tell me, "Ma kọjá mi olùgbàlà, kì í ṣe orin àkúnlẹ̀kọ." Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? So as you pray, you open your eyes, you watch for the moments, you take hold of the season and maximize the opportunities that God will make available to you. I started the Royalty Hotels in the oil rich city of Eket in 1997 with just 5 rooms. 5 rooms. From that humble beginning, the hotel grew to become the second largest employer of labor after the state government, running contracts with leading international oil companies before I left into the public service. But to make that happen, you must dream big, you must work hard, you must be honest, and you must be creative and morally disciplined. One of the things lacking today is creativity. And I heard, as part of the vision of this university, is to develop creative thinkers. The world belongs to those who will be creative and bring value. I believe very clearly that money is an exchange for value. You don't have a right to money if you don't present something of value. And money is a scarce commodity. The inventors of money as a means of exchange did not intend it to be so available that it will lose its value. So you must be creative. What can I do? What value can I add? How can I make it happen? And those little things will see you there. It will show how hard you can work. Be honest in your dealing with people. Be a person of integrity. And of course, you are already people of faith. But you must walk the talk. You must walk the prayers. As you step out of this academic comfort zone into the real world, you will discover that the world can sometimes be unwelcoming. In the last couple of years, you have been in your comfort zone. The walls here, every bills on time, things happen on time. But after today, welcome to the true world. And sometimes it can be very unwelcoming. No one will hand you a bouquet of opportunities on a platter of gold. And no one will roll out the red carpet for you to walk majestically into the boulevard of success. You will achieve success only if you are upright in your dealings and guided by ethics and morality. Of course, the God factor remains ever present. Whenever I remember my small beginnings and how God stepped in to arrange my path and the people who led me to the point He had destined for me, I remain in awe of His mercies and grace. Learn to appreciate people that God have used to uplift you. Never ever, never ever talk down on anyone whose finger God has used to lift you up. It is one of the keys to success. Hold them in high esteem. You may disagree on issues, but even in disagreement, maintain their respect. Defer to them. Tell people openly that they were part of your uprising, because you will not bite the finger that once fed you. It means that you will not have food the next time you are hungry. I believe that what God has done for me, He can do same for you and even more. But you must learn to start something, grow something, dream of something, and put in the hard work. When doors close, and they will, do not lose hope or sink into despair. Pick yourself up, dust yourself, and push ahead. God will do the rest. Never listen to naysayers, people that will tell you cannot make it. It is not people like you they are looking for here. Continue in what you believe in. Be firm in it, and success will come calling. Today, I wear 3 caps: as a minister of the gospel, an entrepreneur, and an underdog politician. An underdog because of my entry point and the years. I cannot compare myself to those who have been in this business all their lives. I respect them. But one thing remains central. In all of this, I have not lost touch of who I am, the grounding I received from my parents, the humility I wear like a badge of honor, and a deep sense of compassion for the poor and the downtrodden. That must never leave you. Today, as I drive on the streets of Akwa Ibom, I deliberately stop where I see people trading to encourage them and offer them money to add to their trade. Not because I want the next election, but because I remember that I used to be like them. And the next meal may be from that hawking. The next meal, the school fees may be from that hawking. And so when we stop by and my security people say, "Sir, you can't stop here," I jump out of the car and hand them money. That may be the whole thing they need for that day. Because you cannot forget where you came from. I used to be like them. I could have still been like them. My story is like a story of good parents coming to the orphanage and seeing children and then pick one, take the child to a very palatial home. The child grows in that home. He must not and should not forget that he was an orphan. So must always return to the orphanage. The story of Moses is quite clear to us as Bible scholars. In my inaugural address on May 29, 2023, I told the world that having come from the lower ranks of the ladder of life, I'll be the voice and champion of those at the bottom. I am glad that in my own way, in the last 2.5 years, I have tried to live up to that promise. I have not allowed the trappings of the office of the governor to hold me down, because I know this is just for a short time. Maximum of 8 years, you are back to the society. I've not allowed the embellishment of the office to hold me down. I still remain myself, walk with my friends, talk with my friends, sit down and gist with my friends. This is who you are. You must let people know how authentic you are. Keep relating with your friends. Particularly, you are going to pass out now. Look among yourselves. Please make sure that those of you who are going to be far ahead will look back. And when you see an Olumide that was in the same class with you, do not be ashamed to hug Olumide, who is now could not move as fast as you were able to move. If you have to look down on that Olumide, let it be you are helping Olumide to come up, because we cannot all move at the same pace. Today, our administration has built over 335 compassionate homes all across the wards in Akwa Ibom, fully furnished with solar power and borehole facilities, and donation to give them startup capital to do some trades. Our administration is targeting 500 of such homes. At least each ward in the state must have a compassionate home. And we are on 335 in 2.5 years. I have no doubt that we will make the 500. And Barrister Morgan hears me clearly, and I know he will help me achieve our 500 target. Every month, we donate to the elderly 50,000 naira to 600 elders drawn from all 369 wards of our state on rotational basis. This helps them to meet their medical needs. We have provided free food vouchers to the most vulnerable, and this Yuletide, every household in our state will have food courtesy of the Ministry of Humanitarian Services, which are established as a stand-alone ministry. I inherited 110 billion naira backlog of gratuity dating from 2012. As of today, we have paid down 75 billion naira. And I believe that before our first term is off, we would have cleared all the backlog and bring everybody to the same level. We have helped to extend the lives of these retirees. Today, we have enrolled over 10,000 elders in our Rise Medical Insurance Scheme. We do all this because our administration is Christ-centered and Christ-defined. But most importantly, I want, by the grace of God, within the limits of my ability, try to see how we can turn around the lives of people that are right down below. It is this same spirit of service and commitment in human development that we have pursued in the holistic progress of Akwa Ibom State. Over the past few years, we have methodically followed the pillars of our RISE agenda, pursuing development with great vigor, from agriculture to rural development, infrastructure, security, education, healthcare, tourism, and the digitalization of governance. We have recorded significant milestones in every sector. In infrastructure, we are pursuing vigorous development, having completed, rehabilitated about 1,000 kilometers of roads across the state within 2.5 years. In healthcare, we declared a state of emergency to stem the Japa syndrome and improve medical access. We have undertaken an audacious project to construct a 350-bed international hospital within the medical corridor of Akwa Ibom State. We are positioning our state as a hub for high-quality healthcare delivery. Central to our agenda in education, the foundation upon which the future of our youth and our state rests. Under my administration, we have achieved remarkable milestones in educational development. We have established 31 fully equipped model primary schools across all local government areas, and 3 model secondary schools will soon start across the 3 senatorial districts. We have implemented a free and compulsory education policy and paid fees for WASC, BECE, NAPTEP, and science regents to all our students in Akwa Ibom. Bursaries have been provided to Akwa Ibom indigenes in tertiary institutions, alongside a 100 million naira endowment trust fund for students with disabilities. The College of Education was upgraded to Akwa Ibom State University of Education, while regular subventions to public primary and secondary schools are ensured. We are set to commence the construction of a world-class sports academy to nurture our talents from scratch, while actively promoting youth development through the ongoing construction of youth-friendly centers across local governments in the state. Now, back to the central element of my lecture: the need to dream big, but start small. Across the world, from some of the most consequential business leaders, especially in the ICT space, from Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, Bill Gates, Michael